The following is a review of the comic and should not be looked at as an endorsement of the creators involved. If you really think that, you should get yourself checked because you are reading things into it that are not there. Also, the quality of this video is pretty low, so if you're expecting higher standards, go check out someone else. What you see is what you get. So thank you and enjoy. Or don't.
Hey guys, Starcraft here, and just want to get something. And, well, going on to Jawbreakers God King, where we wrap up the story that the two books that were in the other issue. But first, I want to show off this. Miss Sashi's artwork of, well, Sashi roboticized. We'll get to the end of the story, but, whew, I do love her artwork. So yeah, another Eastern Man Skyver cover. No, that does not look like Parallax. Anyone could do that pose. So seriously, Blinking Fool, what the hell? You're Blinking Cool. Sorry, Blinking Fool, I meant Blinking Cool. Sorry. Your channel rolls and your site rolls off the tongue better. But yeah, we have a whole bunch of stories here today. As we pick up with a bit of a summary of the, well, obviously Lost Souls is reverted to here, but then the rest of it is all explained and everything else. And this is where it was made clear about Knife Hand was using them as his gang. Because what is mostly described, it comes off not as detailed. But yeah, notice now how we get some of the dialogue from the end of the last book. But they're outside now. What the hell? And also he said that's not Autumn. And these can't be the dirt dragons because they killed him. As then they basically, Silkworm makes a declaration. Most of them run off, but one guy comes in and attacks. He kind of combines into something. We don't know exactly what. But, yeah. They basically starts fighting the thing off until he grabs the guy then. And he starts beating the shit out of him, asking for information. He just starts wailing on him. Until, people are starting to freak out. Until Cuffs comes in and tells them, like, hey, they're expecting better of us. Silkworm saying, like, I need this Cuff, it's because of him. Now, going off of how things play out here, revealing that Richard has things more planned out than we thought, even if he won't show it. And I'm pretty sure then there's going to be a lot more answered in other stories. I'll get to that later. But basically, Cuffs admits, you're scaring me right now, but I'll beat your ass if I have to. Then everyone leaves and Silkworm reveals, oh, that was the plan, to terrorize him, but you and get some information out of him. But then you blew out your water with your I have a dream speech. And yeah, they're back to bantering again. And I do like how Rich writes the banter. As then Hellbreeze has gone out to get in position as they meet up with Autumn and make their way inside. Meanwhile, inside a building, Knife's hand just keeps on slicing through everyone as he makes his way up. Being all awesome as he takes out a large part of the building. Now, we saw him from a distance slice open the gorilla, so him doing this is not out of the realm of possibility. As we then meet up with his father, who is basically like, he did it again. What he always does, ruin everything. We see one of his guards holds a gun, but then Knife Hand makes his way in up to his father and says, do you know who I am? Of course. Who wouldn't recognize their own face staring back at them? Welcome home, son, as he starts using this stuff to take out his Achilles tendons and electrocute him as he taunts him. Basically then, they get into a fighting, and we turns out the father knew he was going to come, so he started training every day. He was ready for this. As he basically saying, I couldn't pay your ransom back then. I need the money to finish construction of this beautiful building. You don't know what it's like to have a dream. I would have sacrificed you 100 times over to see my dream become reality. What a dick. Knocks Knife Hand off But then his father gets the last word, taunting him, actually saying, "Throw away your whole life. Throw away the new family you found, and all just to destroy a $500 million high rise that I insured for $1 billion. Sad." Yeah. What the hell, Knife Hand? They make their way down to a mech as Autumn, Cuffs, and Silkworm get inside, start powering it on as they start storming their way through, making some banter about who's in what position. Now, I should point out, God's King, I can't even screw up. God King is in a giant mech, as we have Hell Priest loading up the God Gun, which they got from earlier from Dr. Man, I should point out. He puts one of his eyes in it, and he's ready to take the shot. Now, as far as then they're getting ready when Knife Hand shows up, knocks him aside, and he's about ready to use the gun to take out his father. Well, not yet. He gets a stapler and staple Hell Priest's hands to the wall. They make their way over. They realize, oh crap, the God King's mech is as big as ours. We're not gonna be able to do what we plan. As it starts leading into a fight, they're struggling around as God King's mech is overpowering them. Then Knife's Hand is taunting, saying like, the God Gun, the gun that shot the singularity and ignited the Big Bang. What? And he's about ready to take out his father, and Hell Priest taunts him, basically saying how you were never one of us. Basically saying like, you stop being a superhero with just a mask, some powers, and a funky codename. It's none of those things. A superhero is just someone who fights as hard when they're losing as when they're winning. When they die hard. This convinces Knife Hand to change target and shoot at the God King's helmet. But shooting it kills him as he falls over dead. And even says he was one of us after all. They make but as they do, I should have pointed out earlier, the God King mech rips off the head, and unfortunately Autumn seems to be stuck inside, and she's killed. But as they make their way in, there's Autumn again. This one an actual regular blonde, as God King is holding her on a psionic leash, taunting him. Silkworm says that's his real daughter, but Cuffs isn't buying it as he charges in, saying, she's wearing the same outfit as the other clone. I ain't buying it. But then he releases Cuffs, although we have no idea what they do. And then he starts turning him into these cubes. And reacting fast, Silkworm covers him all up inside of one of his silk cocoons as he starts taunting him. But then we find out, remember what I said in the last episode about Silkworm gathering up all the rose petals? He realized something. Why would a god need a mech? What does God need with a giant mech? Why would he need, and also count out how many petals were the same number of parts in the gun? Why? And he soon realized because he's still a man as he pulls out the gun where he put the rose petals and shoots him. Basically then saying how, it doesn't work around, and you're using tech, and it doesn't work when you're in this mech. So as soon as I entered in here, my gun came back. Now that's smart. That is clever. And since he knew as far back at the end of book 1, I give Rich a lot of credit for that. But picks up Autumn. But then God King starts taunting them even more. As he reveals now as he's alive again. But now, because he is now a guy, as he reveals how he was left on this planetoid, time doesn't move the same way. And he spent a millennia unchanged and everything. He thought he was a god until the millennia show up and bring him back. And he hated them for it. So much that he was able to pray until Cthulhian-like beings contact him and give him, promise him abilities if he does a sacrifice. So he joined up with the millennials to clear out all crime, so that when he does pull his move, people would shriek louder because there'd be nothing but innocence. And he needed first the blood of those who trusted him. Second, his own blood, which he provided. And last, the blood of an innocent as he kills Autumn. Silkworm is stunned and freaked out as Silkworm starts heading in to gain his powers. Now, Hell Priest walks over, takes his other eye out, puts in the gun ready to use it, as God King is ready to gain his powers. But then Silkworm comes in and basically puts up a good talk, saying like, you want chaos, you want fury, I'm right here, choose me. But Dev just bought him enough time for Hell Priest to take target and shoot, taking out all the creatures and closing the dimension as Silkworm jumps out. Unfortunately, this also kills Hell Priest, who had claimed, hey, I could survive it. He lied. Then Autumn is dying, and with Autumn asking like, did you really think I was her? No. As then all of a sudden, Cuffs comes out. Turns out the healing cocoon fixed him. As he gets up, looks her over, and asks like, you said she was real. Needed to put God King in a false sense, making him think that my mental grief was genuine. Then it turns out his daughter has a scar on her right cheek. As he then convinces Silkworm to go see her. And, well, it ends with him going there and seeing her and giving her a hug. We see Kyle Ritter's original cover over here. I like it. Now this makes it clear that this is the first time this was the true version. Where these clones come from, no freaking clue. And is this even the real one? Because we don't even see her right side. We barely see her right side, but we don't see a scar. But who knows? Could be an artistic mistake. But he seems happy, so yeah. Now we get Zav and Xaxi respawn. As we see the mech and the cyborg warlord, the robotics of him detach from him and head over to Xaxi. Next we see, now this is obviously in between Lost Souls and God King, as they're flying in. It's just Silkworm, Cuffs, and Killswitch. As they're basically saying how they have this giant server that's meant for a video game that they can get a whole lot of money for. But then there's Xaxi there, as she grabs the wheel and smashes up the plane. They crash down. As they do, also I should point out, they used up the $2 million to get this server, which now they're out of all money. That's important for at the end. And then they're trying, to get through, making their way out. Now it says here Killswitch is immortal. We haven't seen him anywhere since during the last story, so who knows what's going on with that. But as they get the server out of there, Xaxi comes in, and Cuffs is completely floored. As she then taunts him, saying like, you left me. I heard your neck snap. I weren't anywhere near it. I thought you were dead. Then why didn't you bury me? As then we start seeing her having an illusion of her origins, which was basically her family was killed by the warlord's gangs, even her own child. They were about ready to, rape her, but then the warlord takes her and makes her his servant. Then turns out she's going through a simulation, but because now she's locked in there until they can do something about it, they can't sell the server, so now they're fucked. Great! Oh, there's Xaxi's artwork again. Next we get Devil Dog's Origin, written by, I should point out also that Xaxi Respawn, the artwork by these were Aaron Alfeche, who did the main story and is doing the Devil Dog's Origin. Charlie Snogans did the Xaxi Respawn, and another one we had by Renzo Rodriguez, as well as Gabrielle Major with Bob Stone did the this stuff here. But yeah, basically in Afghanistan, we find out that Devil Dog had basically, ever since the 9/11, he's gone into the military, and that's all he's known. He's basically become so desensitized that no relationship he has ever lasted. He doesn't care. He keeps on going in, even though he feels like, it was a mistake coming here. But you have nothing else going on for you. It basically involves him helping out a bunch of his fellow soldiers, getting out, working together, holding a big gun, making his way in. Having this great moment as he's fighting against all odds, taking all kinds of punishment, till he makes it to the cabin where he's able to contact for help. But as the help arrive, he is pinned down and captured. As they're brought for a bunch of Taliban, to use him as a radio message. But he fights his way out, gets one of them to get a camera and records him as he starts shooting everyone, giving all the location where they are, fighting his way through there, killing the camera guy. And then once they all show up, he's like, about damn time. Back off. I walked in, I'm walking out. And then he's recovering. He just feels nothing. He feels absolutely nothing. Then at the end, he's soon like just deteriorating, like he's given up on everything. CIA gives him a job, and now he's Devil Dog. We get another version of the image of the cover. As we get into, well, the last bit is by Chuck Dixon, but it's a preview for something else. As we basically see this alien race that has a bunch of their slaves and all this technology, genetically humans, modified humans, and basically they've done so well of a job that the main species have deteriorated to there are only a handful of them. They are bastards, but they eventually soon decide to, when they all die, to leave everything to them, which they do. Now, according to the back, it says here, genetically modified humans are free from slavery by what appears to be a quirk of fate, and discover they are now the wealthiest beings in the galaxy. We'll find out more about that whenever that's out. And that's Jawbreakers God King. Oh, I should also point out, in the back of it, Richard himself even says, considering the events of this book, it would be reasonable to assume that this is the last Jawbreaker story, but that can be further from the truth. The next book, Jawbreakers Grand Bazaar, has already begun production, and Aaron Alfeche drawing the main story once again. Grand Bazaar tells the story of how the team was formed. It will also contain a backup story focusing on Hell Priest that is set before he joined the team. Future Jawbreakers book will be set before and after the events of God King. Okay, I explained that. So, I like this. It fills in a lot of the issues I had with the God King book here. There's still some stuff that's a bit off, but again, Rich is now making this very clear here, because the one downside with Lost Souls that it was a done-in-one, self-contained. Once you get to the God King books, you only have 2/3 of a story, and he knew where he was going since book 1. At least I hope he did. But we weren't even given a hint, so anything that seemed like an inconsistency and bad writing was really him playing stuff up where the characters know, but we don't. Which, Rich, if I'll be honest, that's fine, but you played it a little too much. It felt a little like, I know something they don't. A little too much. So, but again, it was a good payoff here. I do like a lot of the ties and everything. Having it be, God King is basically for evil Franklin Richards and all that. How things were resolved is fine. Losing all those characters, though, if it wasn't for the fact he said at the end, oh, don't worry, there's going to be stuff said before and after, fine. But again, Devil Dog went out like a punk. I'm still reeling on that one. But everyone else I felt got a better send-off. Then stuff with Knife Hand still felt just really off. I do not like Knife Hand, I'm sorry. Cool powers, but his personality and everything was just stupid. That's my one complaint about all this. Everything else, I do like. The stuff with Sachi, how she's brought back, is cool. Setting her up for later usage. Probably going to be taking over the team, being on the team after the events of God King, I'm sure. The Devil Dog's origin was really good. A bit too grounded compared to everything else we have here, if you ask me. But otherwise, it's Chuck Dixon. It's going to be great stuff. So, yeah. This is a lot shorter because, well, the book was a lot smaller by comparison. So, yeah. So, tune in tomorrow when I go over Earthworm Jim. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Take care.